Okay, kids, pay attention. I'll explain it to you guys one time. So the marshal arrives from the Ruy Lopez, right? So 45, knight f3, knight c6, bishop e5. This is called the Ruy Lopez, Peep G. So there's a lot of things black can respond to after bishop b5. One of the main moves is knight f6. This is the Berlin defense. Now here the main line is the castle. Black takes a pawn on e4. White goes d4. Black jumps back. White can take. And we get into this endgame. Now, back in the day, this endgame was thought to be stinky poo. Because, okay, black has the two bishops, but his king is in a bad position. White also has a kingside majority on the king side. So back in the day, this was just thought of as bad. But Vladimir Kramnik, he brought this back into fashion in his 2000 World Championship match against the great Garry Kasparov, in which he just held with the black pieces, and then won some games with white and won the match. Thanks Zwabchaz for the tier 1. Vladimir Kramnik, he beat Garry Kasparov, and that's how Kramnik became a world champion in 2000. Okay, but Magnus, like, this endgame is tricky. So probably that's the main reason why Magnus does not play knight f6 on move 3. Instead of that, Magnus plays the move a6. Right, so Jan can trade on c6. This is referred to as the exchange Ruy Lopez. But instead of that, Jan goes bishop a4. Now there's, once again, many moves black can choose from, but knight f6 is the main move. Castles, bishop e7. Alright, so now that black is sort of more solid in the center, white does play rook e1 and defends his pawn. So black goes b5, bishop b3, and now black has two options. There is the move d6, and this will lead to what is referred to as the closed Spanish, okay? So if white goes h3, black has a lot of moves here. White is ready to go d4. White does not play d4 right away because of bishop g4. And now this pawn on d4 is awkward to protect because of the pin. So that's why white generally plays h3, preparing the move d4. And here black has a lot of options. There's knight e5. This is referred to as the Chigorin defense. There is knight b8. This is referred to as the Breyer defense. And then there's also bishop e7. This is referred to as the Zaitsev defense. Okay, kids? But the move Magnus chooses in the match is the move short castles. Now, you guys might think here, like, okay, here we can play c3, and after d6, we transpose into the Ruy Lopez, right? But guess what? After the move c3, what black wants to do, he has not moved the d pawn yet. He wants to go d5. Now, you guys might be thinking, wait, but doesn't this hang a pawn? It does, because white can take, and after takes, white can take this pawn over here. But black is going to recapture, and after c6, black has very good compensation. Because after, let's say, a move like d3 or d4, let's say we go d4, black's going to go bishop d6, hit the rook. Let's say the rook moves back. There's queen h4, threatening checkmate, so white is forced to go g3, and then queen h3. And black gets a big attack. He usually follows up with bishop to g4. Let me make a couple moves. White usually goes bishop e3, bishop g4, queen d3, rook a8. And black generally has sufficient compensation in the marshal attack. Now, back in the day, the marshal used to be a very, very sharp opening. Black has, great attacking chances. But as theory, proceeded, white found ways to, sort of neutralize the marshal. And white generally gets a slight advantage. But these days, black neutralizes that slight advantage. And this is indeed alteri, as Jocelyn would say. Okay, guys. So, once again, if white plays c3 and black goes d5, this is referred to as the marshal. The marshal gambit, the marshal attack, whatever you want to call it. Okay? Now, white can also make other moves here besides c3, such as a4 and h3, which are referred to as the anti-marshal. So let's say white goes a4, black cannot play d5 now, because after takes, white can take here, and black cannot recapture, because that would hang his rook on a8. So That is why a4 is referred to as the anti-martial. h3 is also a variation of the anti-martial. The idea is to, like, let's say black goes d6, we want to go c3, and once again transpose into the Ruy Lopez. Okay? And black can go d5 here, but here h3 is a great prophylactic move. Because after, let's say, takes, c6, if black ever goes bishop d6 and queen h4, this does not come with a tempo, because we have already played h3. Furthermore, we can bring out our knight to the c3 square, so white is doing great. Okay, guys, so does that make sense to everyone? Does it make sense to everyone? Yep. Okay. Okay. Good job, guys. You all paid attention. So that is really the martial and the anti-martial, and that is the opening that Magnus Carlsen is using in the World Chess Championship match. So I hope that makes sense to everyone.